can never submit. You got stand power, stronger than cement. Trust me, all the hard times I ever sent. You got a high purpose, high calling. Even when you alone, you're still important. It might seem impossible, but just keep moving forward. It's not the destination, the journey is rewarded. Don't be a worrier, be a warrior. You'll be the winner at the end of the story, victorious. Doesn't matter where you start, you can win. Doesn't matter where you're from, you can win. Doesn't matter if it's hard, you can win. You can win, you can win. You might have lost before, but you can win. When your back's against the wall, you can win. When it's 1 against 1,000, you can win. You can win, you can win. You might have. You are stronger than your fears and setbacks, never forget that. Nothing on this earth can overpower you. You got the strength to power through, living truth. Dig in the roots, better Bruce. Dig deep in your soul, you got a lot to use. A lot to lose now, you can never lose if you never quit. Overwhelmed and submerged, but you never submit. You got stand power, stronger than cement. Trust me, all the hard times I ever sent. You got a high purpose, high calling. Even when you alone, you're still important. It might seem impossible, but just keep moving forward. It's not the destination, the journey is rewarded. Don't be a worrier, be a warrior. You'll be the winner at the end of the story, victorious. Doesn't matter where you start, you can win. Doesn't matter where you're from, you can win. Doesn't matter if it's hard, you can win. You can win, you can win. You might have lost before, but you can win. When your back's against the wall, you can win. When it's 1 against 1,000, you can win. You can win, you can win. You might have. You are stronger than your fears and setbacks, never forget that. Nothing on this earth can overpower you. You got the strength to power through, living truth. Dig in the roots, better Bruce. Dig deep in.
Oh man, what's up, everybody? Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in to our Wednesday night edition of the Walking This Way's Impact Voice podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Furman Jackson Jr. Will broadcast out of DFW data Fort Worth, Texas, municipality area. Thank you, everybody, for continuing supporting us, rocking with us, and we make sure we bring forth great, positive, uplifting content that's going to motivate you, challenge you, and more importantly, people that are doing extraordinary things. So once again, with my lovely co-host out of Miami, Florida, the Kingdom Chick herself, Miss Nancy C. What's going on with you?
Doing great, Furman. Another Wednesday. Ready to rumble. Let's go.
Oh, you know it, because like I say it's all about positivity, uplifting. And I always say to myself, I'm just going to release everything that's keeping me from tapping into the higher version of ourselves. And once you start saying that, I notice there's a difference. A lot of things would start lifting up off of you. Things that could be a burden, things that could be hindering you, whatever the case may be. But once you start saying it every day, you'll feel an uplifting spirit on you as well. But also, we have a very special guest with us as well. I have some very, very great people I consider very dear to me. You know what I'm saying? You just never know, Nancy, when God sends you places. You he sits with divine connections. I do believe that. And he has done that recently with two great people, of course, on here. We have one of my very special guests, a very dear friend of mine, out of DFW herself, which is Lolo. Thank you for taking time to your productive
Hi.
schedule
Hey,
and, doing great things. And also, I'm very excited for our next vision adventure that we got coming up. So stay tuned to that, ladies and gentlemen, here in the DFW.
Yeah.
Also, we have another guest as well. It's all about him tonight. We got KG in the building. He's doing phenomenal things from long. Matter of fact, give a background. We all are co-workers. We all work together at some point. And
Yeah.
everybody, has ventured off and doing great things. And like I said, just how God just reconnected everyone. And like I said, we have very dear brother of mine. He was in law enforcement. We all worked in the same place. And he ventured off into the schools. He coaching basketball. He's giving back to the youth. And when I seen Lo and Nancy what he was doing, I know that Garrett is a great guy, very special guy, very talented. He's always the same. We worked the night shift. He was always the same attitude. He was never up and down. He was always consistent in all that he doing. So KG, man, it's about you. And I said we got Lo with us tonight as well. So what's been going on with you since you left the sheriff department? I know you transitioned to the schools, coaching youth. So what's been going on with you since then?
I mean, a lot, but not much. When I first left from law enforcement, I still was in that phase of, I'm kind of young. I still have time to explore. I feel like my passion and purpose was kind of getting, how could I say it, overshadowed. Once I joined law enforcement, when we worked there, a lot of people just talked about money, 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 money.
Yeah.
And I felt myself getting consumed with it. I lost the joy. I lost the joy of my mission of, just being a pillar to the youth, um, being like a mentor to kids, being a mentor to just those around me. So I decided to leave from the jail, started to school, which in the beginning, and every first year teacher will tell you it's not easy, especially at the school I was at the time. It wasn't easy. And then, but after that first year, I actually like found that joy about that. I got that passion back to uplifting the youth, helping, those minorities, Black, Hispanic, whichever. And I just been in love since. I began my coaching career. I'm on my third year now. Um, and it's just been blessing after blessing, man. Like just seeing my kids grow, whether in the classroom or on the court. So the bonds that I've had, and I'm just seeing like my passion like shine bright. So other than that, man, I just been busy. Like I started I started coaching at the YMCA, but just for those kids. It's crazy how I got there. Ran into somebody at the store who was over it, and she just looked at me, had my coaching shirt on. She was like, "Oh, like, do you coach?" And I was like, "Yes, ma'am." And she asked me, like, "Hey, I need a coach for some teams at the Y." And it's crazy because I had already applied to do that anyway. So she helped me get me back on up there, and man, just seeing how the kids got that drive, it just really like opening just a new joy for me for everything. Like I never take anything for granted. I take every moment just with joy.
Man, and I respect that KG, and you said something very profound, and we had talked about this earlier, Lo, as well. Just about finding your place. At
Mhm.
times we could be where we can be. What's that word? Complacent.
Yep.
Yes.
Complacent. And how Lo with Gary was mentioning how that happiness. Do you want to chime in on that, Lo, when he was mentioning about the happiness and
I'm
just venturing?
so yes, thank you. I'm so glad, Garrett. I've always known you were gonna be a great teacher. Congratulations.
I
And I'm
appreciate it.
glad that you followed your passion because as you know, I did not. I was consumed by what you said, overshadowed your passion. And
Mhm.
sometimes when you go into it too late, well, and nothing is ever too late. I want to get that straight. Nothing is ever too late, but it feels like it might be too late because time does not slow down for anybody, right?
Yep.
So, it's very important to do the things that you love. I'm just now stepping into the things that I want to do. I let that thought process of money consume me, or
Hmm.
doing things for other people, my family, which I do not regret. I'm a provider for my family, including my husband. Provider. We did what we had to do, but it's so important to not forget about yourself, because if you do, you'll end up miserable. And you don't want to do that. So I'm so glad that you found that passion. And yes, that is something we were talking about earlier. And it is so important. And so yeah, I'm very happy for you.
I
Yeah,
appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I
yeah,
am.
and it is,
I love that you were coaching basketball. No, I coached it for a couple of years and I loved it. I loved it, and I wish I could go back, but I'm a lot older. I'm a lot
uh,
older. I can't catch up with these kids.
oh wow. Nancy, with the time in on that part about not finding your purpose, I know a lot of times we can't get easily complacent if we're not careful, and but just taking that leap of faith. See, with the time in on that as well, Nancy.
Yeah, I mean, as we grow and we look for what our passion is and our purpose, and God will always open the door for you to get into your purpose, as long as you keep searching what it is that He has you do. So
Yeah, most definitely. And I applaud that a lot. I mean, because it takes a lot to do that, and it is a faith walk, and it is a faith move, and when people walk off into their purpose, we know things change. We know the climate
yeah,
change. We know that this is the 7th month. The number 7 is completion. So we are in the stage of completion. And like I applaud L, and I applaud KG on them finding their purpose and finding their niche in life, and fulfilling it. You know what I'm saying? That's a blessing all by itself, because not too many people are not doing that. But it takes the guts, the courage, the boldness to say, you know what? I'm gonna step off me. I'm gonna step out and do what I know that I need to do. I'm gonna be happy. My happiness is important. And you mentioned of always, putting yourself first. And a lot of times we do get lost in that. We do get y'all want to time in on that as well. How we can't get so easily lost in our set in other things and other people. If that makes sense, because we know we have people who. What do you want to say, KG?
I was just gonna say, with that, I know last summer I did summer school. Still trying to get a little extra bucks over the break, but I decided this summer I was like, I'm not gonna do summer school this year. I'm gonna just continue doing what's making me happy, and I truly feel like that's the best decision I made this summer. Was was just volunteer coaching. Um, I really feel like you know God kind of spoke to me on like why I left. Um, it was times where you realize like you're not happy, like something that you thought would make you happy isn't it, and we kind of get frustrated and miserable. And during that time I kind of did get in a dark place.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, I just, like you said, like you guys said the word complacent.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I thought this was gonna be it. uh it's too late for me. But I really had to sit down and just be vulnerable, and then talk to God and be like, I need something. I need a sign. Like this isn't what I want to do. I feel like I didn't have a passion for anything at that point in time in my life. And then I started just one day, just started getting back to the gym, started back going to parks, going to any open gyms, any courts, just getting back to what I used to love doing. And I was just like, you know what? Like one of my friends was like, you know what? Maybe being that pillar in the community isn't through law enforcement.
Mm.
Maybe it's through something else. And that's when they, introduced me like maybe you should become a teacher. And I was like, all right, KJ. And I was like, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I'm good with kids, but I.
Right.
And so I took that step. I did, and it really shed a light. It really did. And then I wanted to coach. I was like, I'm gonna start coaching basketball. If I can. And at first, it wasn't open for me. It wasn't in my school. And I got back to being miserable. And that's because I was just thinking, with the teaching, it was rough. I was in a new profession, but it's crazy how life works because I know the working at Luster prepared me for so many things. How to
Right.
how to be composed, how to think before I react, just everything. Like it happens for a reason, and it took me like so long to realize that.
Right.
And so I never take my time at Luster for granted. And then once I felt, like, all right, I'm gonna just take everything a day at a time. I live by the verse Isaiah 60:22. When the time is right, I the Lord will make it happen. Um, a coaching position opened up for me, and I fell in love with my kids, fell in love with teaching. Even with that, it just helped me just with everything. The coaching helped me in the classroom. The classroom helped me with the coaching. The jail helped me with myself. And ooh, sheesh. I don't know. Like it just like when you find your passion, when you just see the positive of everything, so many doors, so many visions will just open up for you.
It does, and it really do. Because once you put your mind to it, and when you just knew, you said you was at that place, and I didn't know you was at that place, and you didn't show it. But we
Hmm.
know individual, we always dealing with something, and I get it. Um, when people, let's say, call out, and I get it because we never think about that. When people get bored, actually get bored. You want to say anything about that, Nancy? How people can easily get bored, and it happens. People actually do get bored.
Amen. They really do get bored. They don't know what they want to do. Um they stay stagnant because they don't know their purpose. If you don't know your purpose, then you just end up in idle mode, not really knowing where to go, what to do, and then they get bored, and then the idle mind is the devil's playground, and then they get caught up, and that's how Satan gets to you.
Right. So, Lo, you want to chime in on that? You want to say about that? How individuals could get bored and just bored. It could be just bored and just burnt out.
Oh, burnout is not even. Oh my God, burnout. Burnout is real for sure. It has been so many times throughout the years that while working for the sheriff's department, I think it happened during the transitions of new leadership, different sheriffs,
Yeah.
um, a different influx of people that came in because you had to deal with different personalities.
Yeah.
Um, that jail will change you. And I
Hmm.
think just job within itself, when you don't look at something or you don't do something that you absolutely love or you did not choose, I feel like it changes you. And it could either change you for the better or the worse. And in my case, I feel like it did not change me for the better. It definitely taught me a lot of different things. It had its perks, but it can definitely make you feel like you are running around in a circle and you don't know how to jump out.
Yeah.
Um,
Like a
so,
hamster in a wheel.
Yep.
yes, there you go.
Yes, that's the
It's
perfect
something,
analogy. Like
yes,
for real.
it's something you said, Nancy, earlier. You said that God will make a way,
Yeah.
and He always does. He always does because let me tell you, God made so many ways for me to get out of that, but I didn't take it. I didn't take it. So I had to live with that choice. KG, that's why I commend you for jumping out there and taking it because a lot of people they're scared of that risk. They are
Yeah.
Yeah.
scared of taking that risk. They're like, okay, well, how am I gonna pay my bills? Or what if it doesn't work out? Or what if
Mhm.
this is not the path that God is sending me on? Or what's gonna happen to my kids? Or I'm not making enough money? Or
Yeah.
how if I'm not working that overtime? You know,
Mhm.
I was telling Jackson earlier. You know, I was reading the story about this lady who, you know, her goal was just making money, making money, making money, and she worked 40 hours a week for a long time, right? No, I'm sorry, more than 40 hours. She worked 7 days a week, sorry, but every day, 8 hours a day, 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. And she was like, man, she put up posts, and she was like, I think her name was Quita, and rest in heaven. But she put up
Oh.
saying
Mhm.
that, yeah, saying that she needed some rest for three
Yep.
days. She took off for 3 days, and she went to sleep and never woke up. So I'm pretty sure that was not what she wanted to do prior to her passing. So, when it comes to being bored, it's so easy to be bored with something you don't like. It's so easy to be bored with something that you don't have a passion for and you don't love, absolutely love, and you didn't choose. A lot of times careers choose you because you have no choice.
Mm.
So, you know, that's how it is.
Mhm.
Well, I'm glad y'all saying that because as I was talking, I was just getting in my spirit on how we was programmed a certain way. You was programmed to get a
Work a nine
job,
to five.
be there for 30 years, 30 plus years, get a retirement, and they was thought, oh, I lived a good life. But
Yep.
but a lot of time we was programmed that way for a reason until a lot of people start breaking that cycle of realizing, hey, I have value, I have gifts, I have talent, I have potential. And just like KG stepped out, he stepped out, he found his niche, he found his passion, and he's doing something he's loved to do. And I applaud him for that because it's a lot of individuals, Elle and Nancy, who are miserable right now, who are depressed, who are fit that I'm stuck. And like you said, how I'm gonna pay my bills, how I'm gonna do this and how I'm gonna do that, because we have a lot of times the place that we work at, man, you sign your own paycheck, you can make all the money you want,
Mhm.
but at the end of the day, a lot of people are still miserable. And I understand why people do what they do because they're not happy. They're
Yep.
not happy. They wake up being miserable because they're not happy and they don't know where to go. They feel it's just all that I know. But when we get to that point of, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna step out. I'm just gonna step out on faith and just do it. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Because we don't want to live with regret, and a lot of times people live in regret. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. What if I would have did this? What if I would have did that? And living that regret. Life is all about risk. Life is all
Yep.
about stepping out. I'm getting tongue. We really lose when we don't step out. We really lose when we don't do it. And a lot of people, it's that fear, that comfort, like you said, and like you said earlier, Lo, we just think about money. We just think about providing. And a lot of people are they should I believe we should be happy. You should find what you love to do. You should. I mean, that's what life is about, right? We
Yep.
so consumed with this world so bad. And we had matter of fact, before we had our meeting today, that's why I was telling the guy earlier, people want to chase the things of this world. The things of this world does not bring you joy. Eric, like he was talking about vision and stuff. Yeah, people write vision for material stuff. And that material stuff is not gonna bring you happiness, it's not gonna bring you joy.
It's not. And that's another thing too. Like I had to realize as well. Like when I was working there, like of course, you getting all the money and all that. I was able to, things I wasn't able to get as a kid, do as a kid. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna use this to do this, that, and the third. But once I got it, it didn't really fulfill anything.
Mm,
It didn't fit. Like I was like, I still don't feel the happiness. You see certain people and you be like, oh, like, oh, they doing this, they doing that. Like I just know that's the best feeling. Uh, like this person talking about they sad. Is he a millionaire? Like why is he sad? Like he could buy this, he could go here. But when you start doing that as well, you're like, oh, I see why. Like this don't really feel a void of anything. Like, yeah, it looked nice, it's cool. Like I enjoyed myself, I guess, but after a while, just like I'm still sad. Like this still doesn't bring me anything. And once you let that, well, I guess once your mind gets all that materialistic things out of sight, you start to see like, okay, like I want to do something with my life that brings me joy, not buy things that bring me joy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just you gotta really open up your mind to what you want to do and what genuinely makes you happy. Because a lot of this stuff is going decay. It's going go down in value. It's going, and once that's gone, I mean, what are you stuck with? Nothing. Now you back looking. Now you back searching for the new thing when you just need to make that yourself. Make your joy. And
Right.
then just like with the coaching, I started filming, and that's how I got into the picture me rolling the players next door because it's a lot of kids I'll coach. There's a lot of kids I've seen. I'm just like, man, like this kid is nice. Why is he getting any looks? And a lot of things is like, they don't have the funding, they don't have the resources, they don't have somebody in their corner pushing for them. A lot of these kids, man, they don't have anybody. They don't have any money. They don't have a lot. All they know is go to school and try their best to make a way. But that's what kind of lit a fire in me to start being like, all right, I'm gonna help be an outlet for you guys. I'm gonna help push you guys. And then even as a coach, like that's my job as well. Like the kids I got now, my fifth and sixth graders. I'm like, I refuse to say you coach under me and not make your team next year. Whether that be your B team, whether that be A team, I'm gonna push for you. But you also got to instill to them like, hey, you got to do the work too. It's not you only with me for an hour or two a day. The real work happens when I'm not around, when other coaches not around, when your friends not around. That's when you got to really grind. Like you got to want it for yourself as well. You can't rely on the next man. And a lot of
Yeah.
my kids, that's getting instilled in them. But still a couple. You got to really be hard on, show some tough love. But it's working though. It's working. And then, like I said earlier, once you start to see that, it really just see your kids grow, whether they don't grow in basketball but grow as a man, grow as a human, grow as a woman. It brings you the joy. It makes you realize like all of this is worth it.
And it is worth it when you're doing something that you love to do. Um, you just love it, and that's
Yeah.
what you don't want to be bored. You don't want to be complacent and angry and bitter. Like Kevin Gay said, purpose driven develop riches, pleasure driven develops addictions, and we want to step off into our purpose. You just like soon you step off into your purpose, that's when those distractions come, and that's when the things try to steer you away. But I just love the aspect of what he's doing. I hear the passion in his voice about what he's doing. A lot of people can't say that. I refuse to be miserable. I refuse to be sad. I refuse to be like that. And then when you go up to the next level in your life on being better, being dominant, you were made to rule. You were made to reign. And again, I'm gonna go above biblical for a moment. God gave you dominion. We just got to exercise that dominion. He did not give the spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. You got power. You got a sound mind. And stepping off into him. So when you hit, and then the other thing about it is, Gary, you're giving back to the kids. That's a blessing all by itself.
Yep.
And it's like when you put your mind, and I tell anybody, once you be serious, okay, y'all can time in if you want to.
No, you good.
Is once you become serious, that's when God starts showing up. God does not show up when you're not serious. When you become serious, That's when he started showing up. I'm gonna say that when I moved from Mobile, Alabama to hit the DFW, once I made up my mind to make that transition, going on 5 years ago, doors start opening up for me. Things start opening up for me. Things start happening. Everything start falling in place. And then you have people doubt you. You know, you're gonna have people gonna doubt you. You're gonna have people that talk about you. And people like, man, how you gonna make it? You never been here before. But I trusted God in me. I made it. And I thought then we get off to that kernel mind gets you if you ain't careful with it. Because you'll start thinking, oh, I gotta drive 9 hours. Oh, I gotta find a place to live. Oh, I gotta find this and I gotta find that. If you're not careful, this was back in 2020, this was during the pandemic. But once I became so serious, things started happening for me. I was not broke. When I left my last job, I left that last job with $7,000. Because once I became serious, God made a way for me. So I hope that helping somebody tonight. We sit here and worry so much about this and that. I'm telling you, once you make up in your mind, God will start opening up doors for you. I'm not saying to be saying just to sell t-shirts, but I'm saying what
Mhm.
happened in my own life. And I see that for you, Garrett. He'll
I
start opening
appreciate
up
it.
doors for you. And then I'm also excited about this new venture. Go ahead, Lo. Go ahead. I need you on mute. No, go ahead. You on mute. Go ahead and say it. Your mic is muted. You're muted. Just
Your mic muted.
your mic muted.
Your mic is muted.
It's still muted. There
There
you
you go.
go.
There you go.
There you go.
Look, I'm sorry, my husband was talking in the background. I muted it earlier. um, no, it was something you were saying earlier, which I thought was such a great idea that you did with the kids that I wanted to speak on. I know it seemed like it's off the topic, but I just wanted to say that it, when you said that you started filming for children, for the
Hmm.
kids that were doing really good, you're absolutely right. And you're right as well, because it does coincide. Let me take that back. Because you can't get anything done without the work. God isn't going to help let it happen, but you got to put in the work, right?
Yeah.
So
Faith without works is dead.
there you go. I couldn't even think of the quote, but I know I remember it was there. But doing that filming for those children, that right there is great. That during my time coaching, I saw so many good, and I coached girls. I used to coach girls basketball and volleyball. I did both. When I tell you, I saw so many good girl basketball players. Oh my God. I was like, dang, why aren't there parents? Like, I wish there was somebody there to video those kids because they were so good. To when I think about my oldest son and Jackson, he knows my oldest son. When I tell you he was so freaking good at basketball, track, like he was an all around athlete. But I was one of those parents who didn't have the money. We were those parents who were kind of struggling, you know what I'm saying? So we couldn't afford someone to come out there and film him and then do the highlight reels and all that stuff. But when I tell you he was so good, and I really feel like I cheated him out of that as a parent, and I'm just gonna say it as a parent. Although he would say, "No, mom, it's not your fault. You put me in AAU. You were there the whole time." He would never say that, but that it was my fault. But as a parent, you want to try to do the best. But when I tell you that is some important work, those kids they will really appreciate that, and I know that they would, because when they see those reels and they see those highlights, man,
Yeah.
they're like, what? I did that. I'm hooping like that. Man, it really makes
Exactly.
a difference. Yeah, it makes a difference. It
But
Hey,
makes
I'm glad you brought up the just being a parent as well, because I know at least for my mom, just get kind of like personal real quick. She was a single mom, so it was a lot of things that I know. Like looking back, I realized she did put me in those youth programs, them AAU programs, and it was at times I didn't see the bigger picture. it was at times where I was just like I don't like, I didn't take it serious. I'm just be honest. I didn't take it serious. And I also let my attitude get the better of me. My 10th grade year, I had got expelled from school.
Mm-hmm.
And by the grace of God, I was able to I had someone in my corner, I had my assistant principal in my corner, and he was like, "No, we're not going to expel him. We're just going to put him in alternative." I was only sent for alternative for like a couple weeks, but once again, attitude again. I got I got into a fight like my very last day there. The fight I could have let go. I could have let go, but I got into a fight being hard headed, and I wasn't able to play. They was like, I don't want this kid. I don't want him on the team. Cause, and so that's when I kind of fell out of my love for basketball. And I didn't even pick up a ball till like, eesh, I want to say like sophomore year in college. So I'll say like 4, 5 years, going on 4, 5 years. And I would just be like, man, like I don't care, like I ain't. And so I had to really instill in my kids a lot of actions that you do today can affect you tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of these kids nowadays, this generation, I ain't gonna say they, I ain't gonna, well, not all of them. I ain't gonna say they bad, but
Right.
a lot of them just ain't like, it's like they need somebody in their corner to really like get on to them about what you do today can affect you.
Yeah, that's true.
And I be trying to tell some of these kids like you could be so good, whether that's football, track, you good at this, you good at that. Don't let one mistake today change change your future. They be like, oh, well, this kid, he doing this, he doing that. And I'm like, man, this kid's in middle school, I don't remember. This kid's in high school, I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
I can run into somebody from high school today. They tell me about, oh, you remember when you did this? I don't even remember that. Nobody gonna remember any of this. I understand we in the age of, social media, cameras, all that, but even then, like that is here today, gone tomorrow. And so it's just like once you instill in these kids, like, hey, like just go to school, take care of what you got to do, and get that be done. Even with drills, like it's life lessons in every drill. A kid to get mad, like I make a run. So and so he halfway doing it. We gonna do it again. Man, coach tripping. But I'm like, hey, you would have did it right the first time. I wouldn't even be talking to you.
Right.
It, just being real. Like, and like I said, it's a life lesson in there. You just go on knock like some with your car, some with anything. You go and take care of it. You ain't got to worry about, oh, ain't my light on. Let me make sure I fixed it. Like, I'll do it. I'll do it later on in life. Now go from some simple with your wiring to you need a whole new engine because you ain't take care of what you needed to right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
So once you really just instill that in your kids and also with yourself, your life go a whole lot easier.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. We was talking about this, for the past couple, days on the show. Just being elite. And when I was looking up the definition of elite, and I got it in front of me, being elite means being a cut above the rest. It means being admired by others for your accomplishments, skills, and character. It means striving for excellence and pushing yourself to be absolute best version of yourself. So I'm gonna ask you that, KG. Do you believe in that being like pushing yourself to be the absolute best version of yourself? I think you lost them. Yeah, we did lost them.
My bad. Someone had called me. I'm here.
Nah, you good. But I was just talking about how it means just striving for excellence and pushing yourself to be the absolute best version of yourself. No, that's being elite. And that's what we want to do. We want to push ourselves to be the best version of ourselves. And if we're not pushing ourselves to be the best version of ourselves, we're not going to benefit ourselves or anyone else in the long run.
Nope, that's true.
So I'm a firm believer in pushing yourself. I'm a firm believer in challenging yourself. I'm a firm believer that you should want to grow. We're supposed to grow. We're supposed to evolve. You know,
Amen.
we shouldn't be in the same. Some people don't. Some people don't want to evolve,
Nope.
but
So people don't want to change.
and you gotta want to change. You gotta want to change, man. Life could be what we make out of it. And it's some people right now who are miserable, but so miserable that that's why they turn to addictions. That's why they turn into drugs. That's why they turn into alcohol. That's why they turn into sex. Um, Looking for that fulfillment. Oh, and also we got low back with us. And
Yeah,
what?
I'm so sorry, y'all.
Nah, you good. You good. We was talking about the before you know we were talking about elite, and then I had pulled up something I've been had in front of me, and we was talking about being elite, meaning being a cut above the rest, and that's what we want to be. We want to be a cut above the rest. We should want to move differently, think different, act different, walk differently, and knowing when you know you're gifted,
Yeah.
when you know that you gifted, you don't blend in with mediocre. You don't blend in with mediocre people. You don't blend in with mediocre things. It's not saying you are being a narcissist or nothing like that, but you know your wealth. You know your value. You know what they say, what you bring. I ain't finna say bring to the table because everybody loves to say that whole bring to the table, but you
I get
create
that
your own.
too.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, because everybody love to sit there, bring, I bring, no, but what the thing about it is striving for excellence and pushing yourself
Yep.
to be the absolute best version of yourself. So, KG,
Yep.
what you say about that? Pushing yourself and being an absolute version of yourself. The key word is pushing yourself.
Uh, I would say you only could do what you know what you got in your mind. Even with like teaching, a lot of my kids, I mean, they'll just being transparent. They'll come to me, oh, Coach Garrett, I can't do this, or I like they put a label on themselves. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say what they say, but they'll put a label on themselves, and I'm just like, you gotta try. You only gonna do, I mean, what you limit yourself to do. Did you try? Did you read it? Did you do this? Did you do that? No, no, no. Okay, well, do it. We got is on the test is like layered, like do not meets, the grade level, approaches grade level, meeting grade level, mastering grade level, and a lot of them they'll start out with me do not meets, and they don't believe that they can pass the test. They generally don't, without cheating and none of that. And I really have to instill in them like you can do whatever you put your mind to. A lot of them they'll come to me, oh, what I get, and they see the growth that they had, and they really just be like shocked with themselves. My kids,
Do
like,
you
and
think
that's why I mean, like,
is
ma'am.
it the parents? Is it the parents that they're not getting the support from that they feel like they're lacking? I might have missed that. I mean, where do you
Uh,
think it's coming from? Where do you think it's coming from?
you can say some of it. You can say parents, and some of it like the kids just genuinely that they don't care.
Mm.
I'm glad you brought that up. And we seen this happen. You remember when the pandemic happened back in 2020? Everything shut down,
Oh, those kids were kind of soft. Yeah.
and we had just before I moved here, we had parents complaining that how I'm gonna be at home with my child when I gotta work.
All day long. Yeah, I remember that. Yes.
And you think does that play a role? Because we on this we gotta work. And I'm not saying I don't want nobody saying I'm not promoting laziness. I'm not saying that. I'm not promoting
Yeah, yeah,
irresponsibility.
yeah. Ain't gonna call kids lazy. Ain't gonna
But
do
the
that.
thing about it is, we have a lot of parents who are working a lot. Does that play a role too? Help me out. I'm not
Yes.
a parent.
How,
I'm not a parent. So I'm just saying.
from from what I've observed, yes, in a way, due to the lack of someone being in the household,
No.
that does put a hindrance on their drive.
Yeah.
it puts a hindrance on like their ability to want to succeed, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
because they're like, I mean, ain't nobody in my corner, you know, and then even, but in the same breath with some of these parents, you know, some of these, you know, not everybody was an essential worker. I'll say that much during COVID. So a lot of times, a lot of these parents were with their kids,
Yeah.
and you know, they still instead of I can't. I'm not a parent, so I can't. I don't. I want to choose my words wisely. But
I'm
instead
a
of
parent of
them,
three. Go ahead.
uh,
Say it.
instead of them being a parent, you know, like they'll wake up, their kid playing the Xbox or PS5. I would have had my kid in their kitchen or their living room, laptop in front of them. Hey, you need to be doing your work. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, we both in the house. We both in the house. So I'm gonna make sure you on your job. A lot of my kids tell me, my mom will still be asleep. My dad will
Mm.
still be asleep, or they'll be out, they'll be doing this, that, and the third. I'll just be on the game. I wouldn't even have my camera on, wasn't paying attention. Or, you know, you can still go to Walmart. Like my granny used to sit me down every summer. I used to hate it every summer. She'll sit me down. Hey, what grade you going to? Oh, I'm going to sixth, going to fifth, going to this. Have English, math,
Well,
whatever
you know what's
subject.
backwards. Going to six, going to fifth.
Yeah, it's like
Granny.
she would have all them books lined up for me, and so it's like, you know, the parents got to invest in their child too.
That is 100% correct.
You can't 100% rely on the schools. You can't.
You know, it was never designed that way. You know, I'm glad we talking about this tonight because we going somewhere tonight.
Yeah.
I think we should start cooking tonight on this because we want to bring solutions to the forefront. Do you
I
think?
think
And let's go ahead, Lo.
no, I'm sorry. It's choppy, so I didn't know you were talking. I'm sorry.
No, nah, you good,
It's
Lo?
it's my internet. I'm sorry. Maybe I don't know Spectrum.
No, cause like I said,
I don't know.
cause
Yeah.
look, what I'm saying. Go ahead, go ahead.
So as a parent, because I am a parent, I'm a parent of three. I actually had my oldest son at a very young age. I was 16, and I have two other children. Um, and I feel like my husband and I have been successful parents. We are good parents. My husband is an excellent father. Um, and I feel like I'm a good mother. I'm not going to say that I'm not. I'm a good mother, but having support is good. But there were situations, and I'm just going to use myself because I can't speak on everybody's situation because every child is different, every parent is different, everything. And I've learned, even from my kids having their own children, it's different. How they parent and how I parent is completely, it's 360. So I had a thought process growing up that I don't know, when I had this baby, when I got pregnant, I blamed myself, and I was like, I'm not going to say it's my mama's fault. I'm going to fight to the bitter end when people say it's your mama's fault, because it wasn't. It wasn't her fault. Now, did I get the support I felt like I needed as from an educational standpoint? No, I did not. My mom worked all the time. I hardly ever saw my mom. You know what I'm saying? But I was a straight A student. So my teachers, everybody was super shocked when I was like, seriously, I graduated 17 in my class. So they were like, hold up, it doesn't line up. How are you a straight A student? You're in the top of your class, but here you are pregnant. How does that happen? Why did it happen? So it was kind of like this here when it came to those stats. But I made a promise. I was like, I will make sure that I be the best mom that I can be. That's what I wanted to do. Now compare, and I hate to put this person out there, and you know what, I'm not gonna say who it is, but I do know somebody who has a child. Now she was an adult, but still a child in its own sense. Oh, she's gonna hate me. I'm gonna say who it is. But let's just say she had her parents' support. Okay, She had both parents, but she went through postpartum depression. She went through postpartum depression, and she did not know how to deal with being a mom for the first time. She got pregnant while she was in college. I still feel like today, even though her baby is 5 now, so it's, she's 25. I still feel like she is still kind of going through that, even though people think that postpartum depression only lasts a certain amount of time. I don't think so. I feel like mothers and fathers, I'm not going to exclude fathers, because there are a lot of fathers out there that take care of their kids, um, without mothers, but they go through that and they don't know how to deal with their children. The pandemic was one of the reasons why I know, because I, I knew a lot of parents that was going crazy with their kids being at home with them. And I was like, golly, why? I love my kids. Like, I love being around them. We had like, they, we had like, I had simple days with each of them, and they loved their mom, and I loved them. I couldn't understand that, because I made a promise to myself that I will be a different type of mother. But I was trying not to judge. I don't know if I judged people or not when it came to that situation. I pray to God that I wasn't. But I guess when I say that I don't know how they can feel, that is a form of judgment. And I do apologize for that, because you just don't know how people might feel when they are going through stuff. You just don't know. And unfortunately, their children takes the brunt of it.
Yeah,
There are a lot of parents that don't need to be parents right now.
I agree.
That's just what it is.
I agree.
My oldest son, when he had his daughter, him and his fiance, she was a planned pregnancy. Now I don't know why it was kind of backwards. Their fiance, but it's a planned pregnancy. They're married. Okay, we're just gonna leave that alone. But she was a planned pregnancy. I don't understand why they still not married, but they're getting married soon. But when I tell you, they are such good parents, and my son loves his daughter, not just daughter, but his daughters, because she already had a daughter. So she's his daughter, and those are my grandbabies. I don't care if the oldest daughter is by some other man. That's my grandbaby. And so it makes a difference when you really wanted a child versus when you don't, or what it wasn't planned. Let's put it that way. It's it can definitely affect you mentally. So man, it's I can see it from both ends. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah,
And it's a
yeah.
differentiate. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
because we know.
I,
Go ahead, Garrett.
I
Go
was
ahead.
gonna say, also, yeah, I choose what I say wisely, but also with these
Please.
schools, with these schools as well, though. These schools, I'm not speaking on mine. I'm gonna make sure I'm not speaking on mine. But the school system, I'll say, is is hurting these kids. I'm gonna
Yes,
say that.
I
You
agree.
I'm a, from what I've observed, and it's public information. You can go on TikTok, you can look it up, blogs. Teachers are speaking out about this. How we're passing along kids who shouldn't be passed along,
Mm.
and that that can also conflict with their drive
Yeah,
to succeed.
yeah,
So if I got a kid, well, I ain't gonna say if I got it. I had some kids who would be in class, not look at anything, not pick up a pencil, not look at the computer, not do anything for before they even got to me, until even when they got to me, and they still go to the next grade. They're gonna go through our life thinking the same thing. Or I could just do whatever, and it's gonna go my way.
yeah.
Don't you think it
And
don't? Go ahead, finish.
but then when they not when there's no accountability, no one holding them accountable, that's when they're like, oh crap, like what is this? Like what accountability is new to them. They don't know what that is. So when they come, let's say they come to me for sports, when they come to me for grade, or I need this, I need that, and I'm like, well, why would I do this to you? Like one kid, hey, can I get a recommendation letter for this? And I had to sit them down. Why would I recommend you? Like, tell me why I should recommend you.
Yeah.
They're quiet. They don't, they're like that, I was like a wall to them. They're like, is he not just giving me what I want? So if you don't have that in terms of support with that, just accountability, that is going to affect their kid in ways like they don't even realize. Like when they get a job, when they at the county, they hire 18-year-olds fresh out of high school.
My son is one of them. I want the other one, not the oldest.
So, so like I ain't gonna say no names, but it was certain individuals we worked with in West Tower where they, that accountability was non-existent.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's they need that in their life, and if a parent cannot give that to them, that is what the teacher is for. That is what it needs to be somebody there. And now I will say, huh? My bad.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead and finish.
No, I was done.
No, it was like, I'm glad you brought that up because some people should be parents anyway. I'm sorry. I'm being honest with you. Some people just got caught up in the moment. They just got caught up because they was hot. He was hot. She was hot. Got caught up and the baby come out of it. They wasn't meant to be cheering. I ain't gonna lie. I feel bad for some of these cheering because the parents they have. I feel bad for their child.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion.
But you're right. You're absolutely right. And I actually, it's crazy because, at the sheriff's department, I've been in every department, literally. During my time in inmate programs, that's the first year that we actually started to house the 17-year-olds. Okay, so the program director at the time came to me and she asked me for my ideas about what they can do to help the youth, because they had a GED program and the parents, and I'm gonna say it because guess what? I don't work there no more. So I'm about to do something. I don't work there anymore. Okay. So I'm gonna say what I want to say. But the parents refused to sign up and agree to have those children take the GED class. They would not, because they couldn't take it unless the parents said okay. Okay, it was offered, but the parents would not allow them to take it. Now, these were kids that weren't in there just to smoke. These were going to be there. They were going to be there for a long time. Okay, if they were found guilty. Now, I'm not. You are innocent until found guilty. And my thought process, it's so weird how the thought process changed over time. Because when I first got there, my thought process was guilty until found innocent. But after I've seen so many people innocent, and I've seen so many people innocent, and it pisses me off about how many people get so much time and they are innocent. It pisses me off. And it should not be that way. But going back to the youth, when I tell you, y'all, it saddens me because they told me I wanted to have two things. I wanted to have a basketball tournament for them. And they was like, oh, okay, yeah, we can, let's try to do that. Let's do this basketball tournament. I said, yes, because I said, I think this is what's going to help these kids. They are in here. They're wilding out. They need some structure. Okay. We cannot keep these kids in here like animals because they're going to go crazy. Okay.
Yep.
Y'all, they turned me down. They said no. They said unless they have minimum security inmates that are in there literally for smoking weed are not having no tournament. I said, I'm an officer. I'm an officer. What do you mean? I can watch them. What are you talking about? If they all have the same charges and if I keep them separated, why can't I have a tournament for these kids? I mean, and I felt so bad because I was pumped. I was hyping these kids up because I was told that they could, just to be told that they couldn't. It hurt my feelings so bad, and it hurt their feelings the worst because they, and they stayed there and they ended up getting worse. And I was like, oh my God, their behavior was horrible, and it wasn't just kids that came from impoverished neighborhoods. It was kids who had 2-parent homes and they're, allegedly going into people's houses and robbing them at gunpoint and stuff like that, doing those type of, or having those type of crimes against them. I say allegedly, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, we don't know what's going on. This is all what the officers are writing. And officers can write whatever the hell they want to.
Yep.
And they will fuck up and try to make things worse, especially if you have a mouth. And these youngsters these days have a mouth because they don't know when to shut up. They don't know when to be quiet. So guess what? We're gonna write that to where it doesn't sound so great in your favor. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I was just so hurt about that. And after that, I lost credibility with those youth when it came to helping them. I was so mad. I was so mad at the program director. I said, don't you ever give me something that you know I'm going to fail at. Do not ever do me like that. Because these kids, they deserve a chance. And you just literally just took every little ounce of joy. And they said only one kid can come in. I said, well, how about field day? I even tried a field day. I said, how about field day? Can we do that? They was like, okay, field day. But still, you have to have minimum. You know how many kids were available for that? 2 out of 144. 2 out of 144. I was like, what the? I left. I said, y'all take care. I'm going to go back over here where the dog program is at. Y'all have a good day with y'all 2 inmates. Have a good day because you don't need me. Have somebody else watch them. I was so pissed off because I was like, if I stayed there, I knew I would say something that would get me in trouble. And I was like, yeah, no, this isn't right. It's not right. It wasn't right. And I was like, here we are. We have this sheriff who could have put a stamp or could have made such a difference because these are kids that TYC just brought in. This was new and it was all over the news. You could have made yourself look good, lady. And here you didn't even approve this. Like, and I'm going to blame her because you're supposed to know what's going on inside this jail. Like the tensions I don't care what you say. And a lot of people put deputies here, but the tensions is the meat on that plate. You know what I'm saying? Without detentions, there is no sheriff's department. We have a PD department. We don't need them. Like seriously. And I just felt like it just really hurt those kids because one day those kids would get out, or guess what? They will be found innocent. And then what will they think then? Where will their mindset be then? Every person in uniform is a liar. You know what I'm saying? Like there was nothing that I got and I know some people might disagree with me and be like, well, if they did some type of crime, well then they shouldn't do anything to have any type of fun or any. It's not about fun. It's about the bigger picture. You got to understand how the mind works, especially when you are locked up. When you are locked up, all kinds of stuff go through your mind. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about, oh my God, it's not just suicide goes through these people's mind. It's what they try to train us about. But we're trying to keep these people out. And if they see officers as friends, they might think about something different than coming back to jail. I remember from the first interview I did with you, I had told you about that inmate that came to me. This was in my years of thinking that, I was transitioning from the guilty to the innocent, and now it's innocent to prove guilty, right? And I guess it was one of those days I was talking to this one inmate, and I told him, I gave him some good advice because he remembered me, and he remembered me by my maiden name. And he said, I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for telling me and giving me encouragement about what I can do when I get out.
That's it.
And I was like, what are you talking about? He said, you don't remember me? I said, I'm sorry, but I don't, because I see a lot of faces. I'm so sorry, but I don't. And he said, well, you were the one who told me that I should not give up. And when I get out of here, don't come back. And I hear that all the time. But I got to be the one to make the change. And I can always do it. And that man said that he got out and he applied for a job at Redbird, the little airfield.
Mm-hmm.
That he got a job there, and that man he was in his 30s, y'all. He said that was his first job he ever had. His
Wow.
first job he ever had. He said, now mind you, I am back, but it's just a technicality. It was from probation, because I'm on probation for a very long time, because a lot of people take probation because they are ready to go. Even if they are innocent, they're ready to go. They don't want to be in jail. So they'll do whatever it is to get them out, which is fucked up. Hey, sign here. Excuse my language, everybody. But, I'm passionate. Sign here. Say you're guilty. And we'll just let you go home tomorrow. How about that? They're going to sign. They're going to sign. Or if you don't sign, you're going to get 20 years if you're found guilty. Or you get a lifetime. Which one you want? Do you want to take the chance on a jury or the judge? Or do you want to take the chance on getting out tomorrow if you say you're guilty? Which one is it? So I thought about it. I was like, Jesus Christ. I didn't realize that just me saying that had that effect.
Yeah.
And I was like, golly, you just never know. You never know what type of non-encouragement that young man did not get from his parents.
Exactly.
I just felt like at that moment, everybody failed him. The system failed him. His parents failed him. He failed himself most of all, because you got to make that choice. You got to make the choice at the end of the day. It's just it's just so many people that failed that man, but he made the choice to do better. And I was like, man, and then I realized, hey, the power of your words, your manifestation, your just your energy, your aura, things that come from within, from you. And if you truly mean it, and I truly really mean the best for everybody, you can really make a difference.
Oh yeah, that's what it's all about. Making a difference. And as you was talking, Lo and Gary was talking. The system, I believe the system is set up for failure. Hey, I believe the system is set up for failure. Just like how many prisons they're building up, especially back in Alabama, man. I'm telling you, they building prisons up like it's college. And the prison system is a money making system. You'd be amazed how many billionaires are invested in the prison system, in the jail system. Let's look at it. Jail is not supposed to be comfortable, but look how they making it comfortable. They give them the
Yep.
electronic devices. They give them all this stuff to make them feel comfortable. It's a money making thing. Correction's been gone a long time ago. It ain't no more correction. Correction was to help them transition back into society. They moved it out the way. We can't have them transition into society because we had them transition back to society as productive citizens. That will put us out of business. So we
Yep.
will put things in place to keep them coming back. Look how many people have made a career out of this thing.
Yeah.
Look at they actually made a career out of it.
I've grown up with some people,
It's a
literally.
setup. It's a vicious. It's a worldly cycle.
Nancy.
Go in. You don't get changed. You go right back in.
Mm-hmm.
Corrections been gone. It ain't no more correction officer. Corrections been gone a long, long time
Yep.
ago. It's all about making them comfortable where they keeps coming back. It's a money making
Exactly. It's a
system.
money thing.
It's always been a money thing. If you go back and look at just when they started I mean, we can go back to slavery type of stuff. We can go back to how the system when it was built then, like the history behind
Right.
it. It's deep, y'all. It's deep, y'all. When you have people like Bob Barker making money off of commissary, I mean, he's dead, but guess what? His legacy isn't. We're talking about supplies. We're talking about things. I'm gonna tell y'all this. When I was in MA programs, one thing that I had to deal with was knowing how much my budget was. Commissary O'Keefe, they make millions. Millions. Do you hear me? Millions. I'm not talking about 1 million, 2 million, 3, 4. Keep going. Keep going. And then the
Mm.
county did their part. I was talking to somebody as far as supplies, toilet paper. Something simple as toilet paper. You know how much the county paid for toilet paper? I'm almost embarrassed to say it. Y'all, and I don't want to get this person in trouble, so I'm not going to say who told me. But let's just say they spent about $4 million in toilet paper. Y'all remember the toilet paper that was like really big? The
Yeah,
big
yeah.
toilet. Yes, that one right there, the one that they said that the inmates actually couldn't use eventually
Mm-hmm.
at the tower. That
Right.
toilet paper right there. So it was
Wow.
just a waste. It was a waste, but it wasn't a waste for the people that was making the money.
Mm.
It wasn't a waste for them. No, I mean we can go deep into how much money they are wasting and spending, and who's getting cuts. Oh Lord, I'm never getting a part time.
But if you look at it, when we talk about this, it's the love of money. It's the real all evil. People that love money so much, they would do evil things for it because they love it so much. Like I said, the whole system is a money making system.
Mm-hmm.
It's been like that for a long time. I hear people talk, and that just be real. Slavery never really ended. It really hasn't. Slavery is mental. Y'all remember the movie The Great Debaters when Denzel was talking to the students and he
Mhm.
said weaken them mentally. And you hear a lot of them guys that be on the inside and they be say, man, you in a free world. They say that when people is incarcerated, they say that you in a free world. And I say, do you know how many people is in a free world that's incarcerated mentally?
Yep.
Yep.
Mental prison is the worst prison. You ain't
Amen.
gotta be locked up physically. And you
Nope.
tell them guys, they say, man, you sure right. Yeah, you may be locked up physically, but there's some people in the free world who's locked up
Mm-hmm.
mentally.
Mentally. Mm-hmm.
And
That-
mental prison is the worst thing. But I always knew the whole prison system, whole jail system, the whole school system was a scam anyway. Like you mentioned earlier, KG, look how a lot of these kids are getting passed on. What's they end up doing? They're gonna start turning into what crime.
Yep.
Yep.
And the school system is just an example of the jail system. So
Oh,
It
you took the
is.
words out of my
it's
mouth.
it's the
It
same
is.
thing. It's just preparing you for jail.
It is.
It is.
The way that especially how they got it set up now, we tell them when to do this, tell them when to do that. You dressed in
Uh-huh.
uniform, at least in Dallas ISD,
Y'all
dressed
can't
in
go to the
uniform.
bathroom. If you go to
Yep.
the bathroom, you got to be there for a certain amount of time before you have to
Yep.
come right back in. You have to report back in. My daughter complains to me all the time that when she goes to school, they're not allowed to go to the bathroom, and she's like, "Mom, but I have my period. I need to go to the bathroom and check myself." And she frustrated with that, and I'm
You're
like,
not supposed to refuse your daughter to go to the restroom either. That's like they're not even supposed to refuse that. They,
exactly.
What?
And
Well,
I'd be complaining. I'd be going in there and be like, you better let that girl go to the bathroom because we're gonna have problems.
are you?
but the thing with that is too, your child is telling you one thing,
And then
but
the
they're in
teacher
the
says something else.
yes, but and like, well, I'm gonna just speak from a teacher standpoint. They being, they'll be like, "Hey, Mister, can I go to the bathroom?" Okay, yeah, bathroom. Like my classroom, the bathroom was literally right next to my classroom. The kid walk in the opposite direction. Hey, where you going? Oh, I don't like this
Go around the
bathroom. Yeah, go all the way around the corner. I'm like, where you going? Oh, get on back in here. But then they call mom. Oh, he don't let
Oh
me.
yeah.
He don't
Hmm.
let me go to the bathroom. I'm like, you never go. When I tell you you can go, you never go. So I mean, yeah, I'm gonna refuse you. You better go. But that's when you tell the kid, okay, you better go before you get to my class. You better go before.
Hmm.
And it was kids who I would tell that to. They wouldn't come to class like till 45 minutes later.
So the lack of count. So we having the thing of the lack of accountability.
Yep.
yeah.
That's
If
what's
if
going
if
on.
if the mom gonna always bail them out, or
That's
dad
the
gonna always
problem.
bail them out, then it's like, okay, well, ha, like I got one up on you. I ain't in trouble. I ain't this. I ain't that. I can still do what I want with no consequence.
Hmm.
That's it. But
Yeah.
that's
So
it right there. That's the problem right there. So they being conditioned to think that way. No matter what I do, they still gonna look out for me. They still gonna
exactly.
provide for me. So there is no accountability. So that means there's no accountability. They're not gonna grow. They're not gonna. They're always. Yeah, that's the problem. There is no accountability
I
taking
think that goes
place.
into parenthood and how you structure your household. When I remember when this situation came up when we had to log on, and now mind you, I was born in '80. Okay, I'm about to be 45 years old Saturday. Okay, so my oldest, he used to tell me when I checked his grades online. Now this was the first year, like when he was like, I had to check grades online and log in. I was like, what the hell? What happened to the progress report on paper? I was like, what the hell? Where's the paper at? He was like, no, mama, you got to do it online now. I was
Yeah,
like,
that
oh,
stuff
Lord.
gone.
I was like, okay. So I was like, where's your grade? Why's your grade isn't it? Why? I mean, and I checked grades, right? And he was like, well, the teacher haven't put it in yet. And I was like, okay. Well, I tell you what. Now, mind you, Isaiah. Isaiah is super responsible, so I didn't have to worry about that from him. So I said, okay, since your grade isn't in, I need you to write your teacher an email. I need you to CC me, and I need you to ask her why haven't she put in the grade? Because your parent wants to see your grade, and your grade should be in. That way, I know you did it. And he would do it, and he would get on their ass too. I'm not even lying. I know they were sick of him. I know they were sick of him because he was on them like God. He was on them like he was paying them. I was like, Lord, have mercy. I was like, but that was the structure. So, but I do understand where you're coming from, KG. I've seen so many. I had a friend who, no matter what her kid did, no matter, and I know those kids were bad, man. I was like, I know those kids were giving those teachers hell. And I remember her saying one time that her son was kicked out of class, and she was super mad. And the teacher had said, well, I can't let this one student disrupt all the other children in the classroom. I was like, well, she's right. Like, you can't be mad at her. Oh Lord, sorry. I was like, you can't be mad at her for trying to look out for her other. Hello. Oh,
Hello.
Hello.
y'all. Okay, baby, we are live. What is that? Okay, y'all, listen, I don't want to disrupt the live. Oh, this is so bad. This is so bad, baby. Hi, say hi. Hi.
Hey, hey.
Okay, but you're being very rude. Okay? You're being very rude. Go with Papa. Go with Papa. Out of my room. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna go because he just came back. Because I'm not gonna get any privacy because I'm not just Granny. That's what he called me, Granny. But I'm Mama too. Okay.
Wow.
So, KG, I'm so glad you are doing what you love to do. It was so nice meeting you, Nancy.
Nice to
You
meet you.
yes, you have made a
Thank you,
good
sir.
point. KG, I'm so proud of you, man. Like, look, I didn't
I
even recognize
appreciate it.
the long hair. You know what I'm saying? Or in your beard. I was like, that's Garrett.
Yeah, totally
Oh,
different now.
so man, you literally have like one of the best job coaching. I love it, and I'm so happy for you. And I wish you all the best. You are in the great hands of Jackson right here, and he's gonna. And I hope everybody else is entertained by this conversation. I think this is a great conversation. We can literally talk about this all day. But I'm
Yeah,
gonna
we
go
got it.
because y'all gonna be hearing my grandson. I don't know what he calls when he gets mad. My grandson, not grandson,
Mm,
my grandson,
wow.
talks about this here. So I'm gonna let y'all go. Okay.
Oh, so we appreciate you. Thank you. Cause we about to get to
Appreciate you.
wrap it
Bye.
on up. Appreciate. We about to
All
get to wrap it on up anyway. Cause we pressed for that time. So
right.
Yeah, for sure.
so KG, before you get ready to depart, do you have any words of wisdom, any sound advice that you want to leave here with the listeners as we get ready to depart?
I just want people to take from this just walk by. I just want people to walk by faith, not by sight.
Amen.
I really want people to just take this what they've heard from this and just think. Hold on, gotta get my words together.
Now you good.
I just want people to don't be afraid to make that jump. Do what makes them happy.
Yeah.
If it, like, don't get too complacent. We're in a world now where you can make money, you can make your joy or anything from doing anything. If you
That's
have
it.
the plan, you have the plan. Surround yourself with like-minded people. Surround yourself with people who want to see you better yourself, who want to see you, happy. Don't be afraid to share your ideas. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. That was a big thing for me. Just putting myself. I was afraid to put myself out there. I was afraid of what other people would think, and not what would make myself happy. How would I think? How would I look back at myself and be like, I'm glad I did this. Rather say I did it than didn't do it.
Right.
So I really just want people to take that away from this.
Man, I like it. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited. I am excited what's all about to transpire, what already happened, because you got to put in the work, greatness on the inside of you. And once, because we never know when we get opportunities. When the opportunity presents themselves, go for it. Because we never know when we get the opportunity again. Before you go, yeah, KG, go ahead and plug in your social media sites. I know you have the youth program, things like that. So go ahead and plug in all that as well for people to get the latest updates. What's going on? I forgot all about to say. I gotta ask you that.
Uh, oh yeah, nah, you good. For days you can follow me on Instagram at Kyro Deshawn, KYRODESHAWN. And for sports highlights, you can go to my other Instagram at Players Next Door _ as well as PMR Sports Film on YouTube for the latest updates on DFW basketball and volleyball. I'm gonna start branching out to other sports as well. So just
Okay.
be on the lookout for that as the seasons come up. But
And
they can
also,
find me there on all those platforms.
I'm gonna ask you a question too, but I ask you on the back end because I know you do a
Mhm.
lot of media stuff. But I ask you on the back end when we get the
Okay.
opportunity. So Nancy, go ahead and plug in your social media site, lead us out, and we'll be back here Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Central, 12 p.m. Eastern.
You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on TikTok, and you can find me on Facebook. All Kingdom Jake. Nancy C. Romans 10:9 says, if you confess with your mouth and believe with your heart that Jesus Christ is Lord, you shall be saved. So right now, just say, Dear Lord Jesus, I admit that I'm a sinner. Please forgive me of all of my sins. I believe that you died on the cross and rose on the third day. Today I make you my Lord and my Savior. From this day forward, fill me with your Holy Spirit and lead me for the rest of my days. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Amen and amen again.
Amen.
Appreciate you, KG. Appreciate you, Nancy. Also appreciate Lo as well for hanging out with us. Also, like I said, we got to come back. We got to talk about, have a conversation on this again because this is much,
Yeah.
much needed.
Yeah.
So really, definitely got to talk about it. So we about to get ready to depart, man. Y'all have a great night. Enjoy your night. Enjoy your evening. Be on your purpose. Be about your business, and most importantly, man, walk by faith and not by sight. We got this thing. Peace, everybody.
Yeah.